Hi, it's me again. As you know, that's my favorite line. It's me again, so you cannot confuse it with everybody else. What I want to do today is I'm going to make a video of the small machine, and since the first machine, this is the one who actually started me of try to understand what have we been using for energy and other stuff and light and making everything move around this planet. Um, I come a long way from the small one on a piece of plywood, and I just got this one. It's got a more powerful motor, and also a bigger transformer, double the size of what I was using in the beginning. But I want to I'll show you also. I will be showing you how the magnetic field around element is different, and each element, as far as I'm concerned, and I find out in tests, each element have its own magnetic field. And not because you can't feel it with a magnet, that doesn't mean it's not there. It's because a magnet is just not the couple field. Because a field to react with one and the other, like a magnet reacting with iron, is because one of the field will be positive and the other field will be negative. So they will get together, just like north and south with two magnets. They attach themselves because they're a pair, right? That's what they attract itself. But some like copper wires and stuff like this, it's more likely a different field. We still can detect it with a magnet, very strong magnet, and you will be able to feel and see how the field grabs to the magnet. But I have a small question because, I used to do prospecting, and when you find some sample, you have to have assays. So every mineral you're using, the material you're using, you should have a full assay of what the compartment, if it's just pure copper or if it's got alloyed into it, like nickels or other material will be attractive to a magnet. So, but for what we have on hand, it's just a piece of wire. All I did is a loose loop there, and I will show you how energy is transferred, how many volts is transferred through microwave transmission. Microwave transmission happen when you do a mutation into your currents, and that's exactly what Tesla literally find out. He could mutate currents. He can manipulate the type of current, and the type of current and voltage he was getting. You can manipulate all that. You can send that by wire. You can rechange it, remutate it back into the form we're using today from your plug, your 120, and on your 240. It's all because you know how to mutate that, and a mutation cannot be done unless it's have a jump. If you don't have a jump, all you're doing is a rheostat up or down if you don't have a jump. It's a very weak way to do it, but when you do a jump, it's a massive mutation. It takes a life on its own from there, and I'm not too sure why. The scientists probably could explain better, but I think when you do a high voltage jump on a spark gap, you're jumping into either the heater or to the vacuum. So I'm not the expert in that one, so I'll let that people be the judge of that one. Some scientists, argue over that one because they've been arguing for the last 150 years about it. So, but what I really wanted to do is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera, I'll turn that off, and then I'm going to sweep and show you all the instrument I'm going to use, and that way it will be, so people can understand what I've been using and stuff like this to do the tests and stuff like that. So I'll bring you, do a good sweep, that I'll install closer so you won't see my face, but you will have a much better understanding and viewing of what I'm going to be doing. All right, see, those are the instruments I'm going to be using. Everybody recognize my voltmeter? So a sample one. I'm going to use a tri-field. I'm going to bring you nice and closer. Right? So it's a tri-field, and we'll go into the magnetic range, the electric range, and the microwave range. And then here's a Geiger meter for radiation, active radiation, which it was used recently by the property of Texas of the health department. So the only reason they didn't use it is they broke a little tab here, so they cannot put the sling over their shoulder anymore, so they have to carry it by hand. So that's why it was taken out of commission. So, and then you know, very simple, I will be showing you how those bar, that's aluminum and that's copper, that's a 6065 aluminum, that's pure aluminum you can buy without going to a custom, you know. And same thing, the brass is the same bar all the hydro company use for connector. So it's really high quality copper. And I'm going to be doing some tests with an iridium magnet. That's a magnet from a scooters. Little coils of coppers, some bottle cap, can little unit to open the cans. A little light bulb, which this light bulb is actually for testing the current in your, see if you have current. Those light bulbs actually work on radiation. They not actually works on anything else. So tiny little bulb in the end. It's absolutely radiation. There's no connection into it, and there's no spark. It just glowed. The little thing just glow up. So we'll see that, and then also an LED light. Nothing special. Just wire the wire LED light. No coil behind. No nothing. Right? There's no diode. It's just two wire twisted together, as you can see. Right? On each side of the little diode, and as the LED light. But there's no diode there. I don't know why I said diode. But you can see the LED light. That's a half-inch button. The wire goes in and out. And those lights cannot operate if it's no oscillation. So if you put straight DC into it, it won't work. If you put straight AC into it, they'll burn because the current is too high and the voltage is too high. So I think that one there's something like, you know, maybe, I'm not too sure on the volt. I won't say it because it's I don't know, but it will react because underneath is a what do you call that? An induction coil for a stove, for the top of a stove. So this is an induction coil, not an element, a coil. Okay, and then again, I will have my little electromagnetic radiation detector just to see, as you tell, we have radiation, you know, in this place here because I've been playing in the garage with that, with my unit. So there we go. I'm going to reset that so everybody can see it, and then we'll go from there. Okay, you're not going to be able to see my face, but what I'm going to do here is to do the sample with the magnet. When you put the magnet on the bar, there's no connection on both bars. But watch the magnet going down. Now I'm going to turn another light on to make sure, see if you can see better. Alright. When you move the magnet, it wakes up the field of the other element, and it creates an attraction or force, right? And we just find that out by playing a little bit, you know. And then again, what I'm saying is, we do have pure aluminum, or we have alloy aluminum. But apparently, that's the cleanest aluminum I can buy. So I would have to go to a smelter to say I want just straight aluminum. But at a strong magnet, the effect is a drag. We can see that. When the magnet is not falling, then we have something there. We're waking up a field. Now, I'm going to turn this light out so it's not so bright for you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you when I turn this thing up. You will see this little thing turned on a little bit. As you see, it awake the LED light by itself. See, it's radio transmission, but it's a very short radio transmission. Underneath this plastic is just a coil. So it's no connection. So that's the energy transfer you're getting from this coil. Now I can do is remove this coil, remove the light, so we know we have radio transmission, and then find out, okay, well, where's my voltage? Well, let's go find out how many volts we got. Now, as you can see, we have 90 to 88 to 92, 93 volts. It bounces off back and forth just from this wire over a plastic tray, and I'm having voltage coming out of it. So if it is not wireless communication, I don't know what that is. I'm not sending word, I'm just sending energy through it. And we take them out. Now we know we're having energy. Now let's see if we're having radiation. Well, according to this tiny little bulb, as you can see, it's got no filament between it, it's just two little legs, and it doesn't matter if you have that or not, it doesn't matter if you touch anything. The little bulb actually, let's see if we can put something white. You can see it maybe very little if you zoom in that little bulb. If I go here, I don't know if you can see that, is red. You get a red glow around all the bars. Same thing when I go around the bulb and near the bulb, an extreme red glow on. It just tells you we have radiation, we have a flow of currents. Now of course, radiation is not a problem. It's everywhere. But it's electromagnetic radiation. You know, it's everywhere. It's all around us constantly. I walk in the street with that goes off my pocket constantly. So it's not something that's new. It's everywhere. So if you have power line, you have that radiation. If you have any electronic, you have the radiation, electromagnetic radiation. If you didn't have it, nothing would work. Now again, we're going to go with this tri-field. Here we go. And we're going to go with magnetic. As you can see, we're into the magnetic. 15, the reading. As you get closer, it gets stronger. Of course, because the transmission of the unit is not that wide. It doesn't go for like, you know, hundreds and hundreds of feet. It just surrounds the machine. So we go with that. All right. So we go to electric. Well, electric is the same thing. Every electric motor have produced that. So we know it's no different. Now let's go about radio microwave. Now radio microwave, you have to be close. You gotta get really close. Then they start moving. See? Now we have radio microwave. Radio microwave. Because without radio microwave, it's very simple. If we don't have radio microwave, which goes back to what Tesla, the big mystery of Tesla again, what he discovered, he could manipulate DC current, turn into radio wave, and then turn the radio wave to a microwave. This is it. This is all he's got, right? He was a manipulation, he was the perfect guy for manipulating this energy. And this energy rules the world today. Who know how to manipulate microwave and radio frequency rules the world. Well, they've been ruling the world for how long? If anybody doubted that, that's another thing. Now we're going to go to the really bad radiation testing unit, right? So we're going to check the circuit. Circuit good. As you see the needle, circuit check. 0. I'm going to bring it to 0. Okay, so we're going to go to the lowest reading as possible. We have nothing. Not one number. So we are not creating radiation who can harm people and burn people for the next 360 years of half-life. So I'm just letting you know this machine is working perfectly. It's been tested and brought to me in a perfect condition, except that little tab there was broken for the strap. And it was used by it was the property of Texas Department of Health, calibrated in December '72, calibrated in other, I can't read anymore. But anyway, Blue Tiger said, and we tested and it worked. So there you go. So we got all the tests out of the way. And the flow of here, of that bulb here, because it's a spark gap, is actually a stream of radio wave which has been mutated literally to, I would say, a band of microwave, and you can like physically see it, like all your twisty, your smart, your fluorescent, your neon tube, that's all plasma. It's sand. It's just a plasma effect inside of a bulb with the gas on it. Now the light I'm getting, since I'm not activating this bulb properly, because I'm not sending AC currents into it, which that's what makes this thing kick in. I'm not igniting the mercury. They have mercury powder in the bottom of that rod. So, but what's happening is the flow can excite the particle and it gets stuck into the wall, and that's where you see a little bit of a sparkling on the side of the wall of the tube, but the rest is a perfect stream. Now you can make the stream do different thing a little bit, right, by changing the speed. Or you can make a different spark when you see, look, it totally changed. Because now it's sparking underneath the bulb. Now I can make this thing dance by opening the spark underneath the bulb, so it's sparking underneath the bulb. So now we have literally two spark gaps underneath the bulb and here, and it changed the effect again. We mutate the field again. So this is one effect. Now this microwave, it goes through you. It doesn't really harm you, it just goes through. That's what it's designed to. That's what the Earth have, a natural microwave system. And that's what Tesla really discovered about. He discovered all the natural phenomena of the planet and then mimic it, but mechanically. He was a genius, literally. Now we know we have energy who goes through this whole thing. We know we don't having bad radiation coming out of it. Now we know other material carry a magnetic field who can be affected by the regular magnet field. A lot of things people said, well, aluminum is aluminum, but here those are the little tab from the pop can or drink, right? And those are pure aluminum front. It's one of the purest aluminum you can find. Well, obviously, it doesn't attract that. I have nothing to attract that. Nothing's sticking. Nothing's sticking that way either. But soon I start moving and back and forth, I have a very strong field here. So, if we could understand the same way, or think the same way Tesla was going with that, we wouldn't need nobody. We could create our own energy, and in a matter of a couple of weeks, to be able to produce a machine to produce your own energy as much as you need. So, but let me reduce the camera, so what I wanted to show you is pretty much done, so you can actually see my ugly face again. Okay, well, that's better. So the understanding of being able to prove the energy can be transferred. yes, it can be transferred, because I saw it with my own eyes when I was 14, and I didn't ever ask question, because in those days we didn't ask question. It used to be a company used to work to install, doing survey and installing microwave tower bouncer, they call, or repeater. And we had a big bombardier for a double track with a trailer double track to go on swamp and very soft area. And they used to hire us to bring equipment into the bush so they can do the survey and stuff like this, pretty much almost every year. And I spent, you know, a lot of time with them in the winter. They were doing in the winter. I even worked for them. They hired me to do picket line, putting picket line on a frozen lake. Well, it's kind of a little challenge when you can't stick but it's the best way to do a perfect grid on a lake when it's frozen. So they can do a measurement and what is on the need there. But anyway, it was that years we got hired to take all the material to build those towers, and we did the hauling, and they built the towers, and you know, and I was the one driving. I was 14 years old, and I was the one driving since my brother could not do it. He sent me with the equipment, and I was there for one of the tests after the whole unit was all put together, and the batteries and everything, because it was all running with battery. It had no generator for some reason there, and that was one of my kind of curiosity. Who charged those batteries? Metal, like, you know, we're 52 miles into the bush with no road. I said, who charged those batteries? He said, don't you worry about it. He said, the power comes from the beam. I said, okay, well, you know, I'm only 14 years old, so I just sat back and watched they were cleaning up, you know, and then they were going to activate the power to see if the dish are lining properly, because they have to be lining properly to pick up into the beam. And then, on our surprise, apparently it was a miscommunication from the other end on the radio, and the person, it was the one guy, was still up in the tower, about close to 50 feet high tower, and he was cleaning the dish to make sure there was no particle in the dish to make any distortion whatsoever. And all we heard is a big whomp, like very whomp and crackle. And then I look up, because I was sitting outside on the side of the trailer, and all I see is this guy falling off the tower, but he was not falling fast. He was falling almost like like he had no weight. It was like a dead leaf falling out from a tree, going a little faster. And this guy got vaporized. Literally every single water molecule got vaporized of his body. So he had barely no weight left. And that was a shocking. At that point in time, you know, we didn't ask question, right? It was an accident. They dealt with it as an accident, and that was the end of that. And that's pretty much was my last go with. They never show up for 2 or 3 years after that, and then I left home and stuff like that. So there was just old memory when you put all that together. Like now, it makes perfect sense. They could charge the battery by energizing a certain frequency to be able to charge the battery in a very short period of time. And I believe it's still be done today. Look, crowd control, that's microwave. I mean, you make you feel like your skin is boiling, it's burning. That's microwave. Tesla is dead ray to knock up dozens of planes out in the air. It's a microwave beam, and nothing else, nothing less. I mean, everybody says laser, but laser, when you look at it, what laser is beside microwave? It's just a microwave with another particle in there to create a beam. It's a pulse system. So, I mean, you know, if we really think about it, you know, Tesla discovers something so simple but so big, who makes this whole world work today. Because it's very simple. You can ask to any physicist and scientist, and I like them to come up and sit down with me and talk about it, because I think we could have a pretty good conversation. Because if I ask them, if we remove the working of radio wave and microwave, what do we have left in this world are the way we live. And I guarantee you, they will be scratching their head and they will probably say, right back to the horse and buggy. Because everything runs on radio wave and microwave. It's just a mutation between the two. You start with one and you mutate it to that one, and you can remutate it back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth, and so forth. I mean, like, you know, it's no limit. It's been done billions of times around this planet every day. Every time you turn your computer on, you turn your cell phone on, you turn this on, it's happening. Now the person who can manipulate and learn how to manipulate radio wave and frequency rules the world, as we know. Because look how we've been manipulated, right? The government knows about that. The big industry knows about that. And that's how they manipulate you. They don't have to go anywhere to manipulate you. They got you hooked so deep in your throat you don't know you have a hook there. Because without all this gadget we have, do we think, you know, is very good for you and for the economy and stuff like this? Well, if it was also good for us for the economy, how come the economy is so shitty? How come the dollar is worth pesos? Pesos. You know, so I mean, like, it just doesn't make any sense. You know, life became so ridiculous, and it's such a big lie now. I mean, even when they say something is so ridiculous, nobody want to believe it because the lie is too big, it's too outrageous. You know, 50 years ago, oh yeah, we can do you a better world, right? You know, you work all your life, you get, you know, you retire, you get a good income. I can take you an old folks home. They work all their life, and they have nothing. They have nothing. Their pension plan can barely pay for anything. And the only one that in an old home house is because they took some money out of their own pocket and reinvested into a retirement plan. So their retirement plan paid for all that. Right? So literally, the government doesn't give you nothing. They give you a $600 pension plan. You try to live on that every month, when the cost of living is nearly $2,500 to $3,000 a month at poverty level. You know, in just the last month and a half, our cost of living went by 31%. We lost 31 cents on the dollar. Instantly, that's every cent you're losing on the dollars on the value against the U.S., your cost of living, because you go to the store. No, everybody, you know, they need to take a mortgage to buy cauliflower. $8 for a head of cauliflower. $5 for a turnip, for God's sakes. Like, really? It costs $5 to grow this turnip? No. It's because the dollar's worth nothing. We have pesos. We have politicians in place to make sure those dollars, they're worth nothing. So you have to go and work more and more and more to make more pesos, to bring more pesos home, so you cannot afford to do anything with it anyway, because by the time you bring it home, the value dropped by half already. So I mean, like, you know, it's a non-fixable situation when you come to, oh, what we're going to do. The only way you can fix the system do not work the way it's set up. And we've been trying 50 years after 50 years after 50 years. It doesn't work. So I don't know when people is going to wake up, you know, and really says enough is enough. Because as I tell you before, the government doesn't own shit. The government doesn't own nothing. And then people say, well, but the government gave us this, gave us that. You tell me one thing the government gave you from the personal pocket, and I will be waiting for the rest of my life, and I will never get an answer from you guys, because it's nothing they will give you for free, which you didn't already pay 10 times the value. That's how they give you stuff. They make you feel good. Oh, look, we'd give you that with the taxpayers' money, but that same service you could have bought it 10 times for what you gave. So where's the other portion of what you're giving? You went right into their pocket. Those people, they're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars. It's not a man on this planet who is worth hundreds of millions of dollars in salaries. It's not a man on this planet his value is more than another man. Because then he said, this man is better than that man because he's got a better value. Because that's how the world works today, right? The man who have no money have no value. The guy who have money has got value. So this guy is good, but this guy is bad. But this guy up there, he cannot make his value unless he's got a whole bunch of those guys there working for him, right? So you see the off balance here? It's not balanced anymore. It's way up there and the other one is way down there. So, I mean, to me, it's just a question of, you know, shaking the shit you got between the ears, because we've been stuck with that for a long time. I mean, I'm just as a peasant as everybody else, but this peasant is actually waking up. And I can actually see stuff is not right. And more I'm seeing stuff is not right, more and more he gave me the power to go forward with it, because what are you going to do? Really? I mean, like, you know, coward doesn't put bullet in people's back because they're too goddamn coward to pull the trigger. They hire somebody who can do it. That I agree with that, because that's what the government's been doing that all their life. So I mean, like, you know, to me, I don't really care. I'm letting you know exactly the way I find it. And if people don't like the way I talk or don't like the way I say things, then turn the screen off, right? And also all those warrior, we call them keyboard warrior. Like, you know, they can talk very strong and they can turn the world off and kill millions of people over their keyboard, but they never put a face behind. They're cowards. Literally cowards. There's no other word for it. You know, they're either politicians, which are cowards. They put their face out, but hey, they need millions of dollars of security around them constantly because they piss people off and they don't want to be shot or even punch up once in a while. Right? So they're cowards. I mean, go to a country where their leader is actually a true leader and it's good for the people. This guy walked the street like he's just another guy and shake your hand and stuff like that, like he's a normal person. Why? In North America, they're all hiding behind millions of dollars of security. They have jet flying over there and gunship flying around and anti-personal tanks around and oh my God, like, you know, it doesn't end. So you have to be scared shit out of your own shadow to act like this. Literally. I don't know how they wipe their ass in the morning without having 6 people checking for explosive in their toilet paper. I don't know what kind of life that is. Just so you can steal more money from people and control more things from people and sell the country to other country with no right to selling it because it doesn't belong to you. Because the last time I know, I didn't receive a check from my part of Canada, and I have very deep root in Canada. You know, it just blew me away. How can we fuck up a country like this and let those people, you know, let those politicians to fuck up this country so bad, you know? Canada became a cesspool of people. And a cesspool is not a nice word, you know. That's where you send all your shit and then it just kind of settle down there and start moving around a little bit and settle and activate and bubbles. That's what it's called, a cesspool, right? That's where your sewage go. That's what Canada is, a cesspool. You know, we're just creating our own grief by not saying no, by not growing balls. You know, that's the bottom line. People, you know, when they talk about stuff, it's only talk. Do it. Don't just talk about it, do it. And I'm trying to do my part, you know, and try to showing, hey, we've been lied. And it's no one can argue me unless we have a couple of more keyboard warrior, right? But, you know, we've been lied to since the day we were born. Right? I hate to tell you that, folks, but Santa Claus don't fucking exist. You know, wake up. You know, those are all factual stories. And we've been feeding our kid with that. You know, that's the whole world. People believe Hollywood shit. You know, well, wake up, because pretty soon you won't be able to eat. You won't be able to afford your food. I don't care how much money you got, because it will be a time with Canada will look just like Mad Max. You want to eat that day, you're going to have to kill someone, because that's exactly what we're going for. And then I think that's where they want us to go for. Instead, turning around and telling them enough is enough, you get the hell out of there. We can put somebody who actually know how to count. 2 and 2 equal 4, not 22. When I laugh at when they call that, what do you call that, accounting? Not aggressive accounting, but you make those imaginary numbers to fluff up your book, just so your numbers in the bottom, they look bigger than the oh my God, what's the word for that? But anyway, you probably know that the word has been done, and most of company has been done. The government is good at it, is the one who invented it, And same thing with, why do we have compound interest? I remember in 1970, unless they changed the law, compound interest was illegal, because it was no bearing of how much you can charge. But every bank is doing it, right? Same thing against today. Apparently, the last time I find out, we had a law against gouging. It's called the gouging laws. I don't think it's never been enforced one in Canada. And you know what it's telling me? If no one enforces, mean everybody's happy with whatever they're paying at the store. Coward again comes to mind to me. Why you don't bitch? I bitch all the time. Every time I go someplace, I said, do you know, I ask the person, do you know how much this thing it costs from the factory? And they look at me like they're fucking deer in the headlights. I know it's not the person's fault in the front of me, but you got to start somewhere. You got to start bitching somewhere. If you bitch enough, maybe the bitching will slowly get here to the top. Because you can never bitch to the top, because they're not there. They're somewhere in Ontario somewhere. The owner of those corporations, they don't hang around the store. They're too coward to do that. It's crazy. I mean, little thing would cost like literally nothing. I got a sample. It's just ridiculous, right? I have to take the nut, because the nut of this thing, it doesn't come with it. It's separate, right? And the nut costs the stainless steel. So I'm going to take that off. But this tiny little piece, right? 2 little threaded shaft, right? We call that insulator because of suspension, right? So you can remove the vibration from one object to the other, right? That comes up from the factory probably for less than a quarter of a penny. All right? They sell that at the store for $5 a piece. Now, why the store sell that for $5? What the store did to that little piece, beside transportation from China, which is free by the container full, nobody can explain that to me. And when no one can explain that to me, I have to move that whole thing into, it's called greed. The second disease in this country. First disease is stock market. Well, actually, greed was probably the first one, because it was there before the stock market. But those are the 2 major cancers this country's got: greed and stock market. Everything is overpriced for no reason. People don't understand. I mean, they've been put to sleep. They don't understand what you're paying in the store is a tiny little fraction of the manufacturer. The manufacturer, the manufacturer part of it is a tiny little fraction of the price you're paying for it. Because, my uncle from my aunt's side used to work in GMC in Markham, Oshawa. And he used to be an engineer there, right? And so he could buy a vehicle right off cost, right off from the line. Well, in those days, a car used to go the same, 1972, between A high-end car would be very close to about $8,000, $9,000 for high-end on a GM brand. But for him, the car was only $2,100. Now, $2,100 from almost $9,000. Now, the factory carried the warranty. So they sell the car for $2,100. He goes to one guy, and he goes to the second guy, and he goes to the third guy, and everybody, you know, they have those fancy dancy car dealer, not like the old day. The old day they used to have a gravel parking lot with a fence around and a fuel flag, a little hut on one side, and a quantum hut for a garage for changing stuff and working on the cars. Today's car dealer, they have car or building, they're worth $30 to $50 million to sell a goddamn car. Now that's the difference in the money you're paying for the manufacturer price to the retail guy, because he's got to feed this monster, so he's got to charge you through the nose, which that car costs him literally nothing. When you go to a place, you said, I want to knock up $3,000 that car, and if they're starving enough, they will do it, and they're still making a shitload of money. You know, people should be taught, the kids should be taught in school how to find out the price of object, of good, directly from the manufacturer. And the manufacturer who will not answer that question, because they won't tell you nothing unless you subpoena or you go through the what do you call that, the bill of right of information, free information right? But that will take you 2 or 3 years to get it, right? But since everybody have the power today, you can force them to give it to you, because if they don't want to give it to you, you can actually crash their internet, because they're all hooked up to the internet. Now they can't even produce a bill or move anything without the internet. So how you do that? Multiply the level of incoming into their system. Pretty simple. The highway is really small. It's a tiny little lane. When that tiny little lane cannot take it in the other end, what's happening? The server crash. It's pretty simple, basic information, and any user knows today. But no one's using it. Everybody's got the perfect fix into their hand, smartphone and all that stuff. And what are they using for? Watching stupid thing, or texting, or Facebooking some idiot who take his board, his longboard, and run into a brick wall. Right? And instead of using it, that tool he's got in his hand, to use it properly, to change what is going on. Now they're using it as an entertainment, because that's all they know. They don't know anything else, because no one ever teaches them anymore. You know, they're literally walking idiots. They don't know how much a bubble gum costs to manufacture, or why they're paying $1 for it. They just paid $1 because they're idiot. They don't have a fucking clue. You know, we managed to create a whole society of total stupids, because we gave him the toys to play with, so they don't have to think about anything. But and like, you know, that's the way it goes. I mean, this world is going to be either some will survive and most of them will have to perish, because they don't know what's going to hit them. They won't see it coming. You know, they'll think it's another game, and their you know, the iPhone. But some kid is going to wake up, and when that happens, man, I tell you, I will be standing in the front of that kid. Make sure that kid don't get that bullet, because that kid is going to be the guy that's going to be changing that. And hopefully a lot of young kids, I don't care, female, male, they're all in the same boat with that stuff. I hope they're going to wake up. When I see that, I definitely going to put 100% effort, to make them understand they don't have to go through all that stuff. They can remove anything they want. They own this country. The kid own this country. That's their country. Not the government, not the bureaucrat, not the big corporation. It's their country. Take it back if you want to live like a man again, and women. Because if you don't do it, I'm telling you right now, you might as well find a tall bridge and jump off. Your life will be much better for what is coming. It's just that simple, because it's getting pretty bad out there, and people are still saying, oh, things going to get better, oh, things going to get better. I've been hearing that for 30 years now. Things going to get better, all I see is the debt of people getting higher and higher because of the demand of those politicians. I think it's time, for the people, the young people, to wake up and says, enough is enough. We don't have to take that. And there's many ways you can do it. And believe me, when you do the right thing, it hit home. It's just like a boxer. When he swing a punch and he hit the right spot, and this guy in the front, it count. The knee buckles down and the guys goes down. He might come up. All you have to do is repeat or put another one in a different good spot, and he will go down again. And most of the time they don't come back up. A boxer is a boxer. You get two good button right here on the chin and right in the side of the head. Those two spots never fail. Always buckle the knee of the guy in front of you. They just seem to turn the light off. That's simple as that. But we have to wake up. We have to wake up and take that. It's not granted, and it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. It's too much garbage out there, and it's got to be cleaned up. We have stuff. We don't make nothing in this country. We literally do not make nothing. So, it's pretty much what I want to say today. Everybody thinks it's dangerous radiation in my little thing here, but it's not. Test it over. All we're doing, playing here, is moving energy from one place to the other, learning how the effect is, figure out proper material, for building generators, removing, by changing the mineral inside or the element, and using different element, we managed to move to reduce the resistance on the shaft on full load by about 80%. Temperature drops tremendously, voltage stays up. So I'm doing a lot more tests on the other machine, what you can't see behind me, and I'm waiting for a couple of more parts for doing a mechanical controller, which I resamplified again from the beginning. So it's kind of a slow, but it's going steady forwards, and doing some progress, and a lot of people are testing this machine about different things, because it's a neat little machine. You can adjust it, and you can test. You can have physical experiment with that and stuff like that. So it's just up there for people to see. So it's no, like I said, no Houdini tricks. See, my sleeve don't roll, so I didn't pull any card on my sleeve. By the way, so I will finish. I will turn this short here, and I'll have another video will come up shortly after that one, explaining when I get the parts of the generators, to explain how the effect of a mechanical controller can be done easily, as good or as fast as electronic, because I have so many people looking for a controller and try to build a controller for that machine. Probably about 50 or 60 people, because the only one who knows the controller or those motor is the company in South Korea, and so far they will not talk to me, because I guess they're swear to secrecy or something like this. They don't want to make money. They have too much money. Even the embassy, I send a letter, say what the heck is going on. When they ask me a question, I answer the question, send them a picture of the motor I'm using, which is their motor, and then bang, I have nothing. So far, the embassy of South Korea in Vancouver didn't respond to my email. So just to let you know how corrupted the world is. You know, they don't want to deal with you. They don't want to deal with the little guy. They don't want to deal with the little guy who asks question. They don't want to deal with anything who can ruffle up, you know, the way this whole system's working. The secrecy, the world of secrets, right? Never, if anybody who tells you, be quiet about something, punch the fuck out of that guy. Because he's the problem of all we have today. Same thing with a lawyer when you go to court. Be quiet, no, don't say anything. We'll do that, we'll do this. Yeah, right. That really fucking worked well for you, isn't it? Right? This wheel or squeal will get the grease or the bullet, but you'll get something out of it. So I'll leave you with that, guys, and I'll see what I can come up with the next one, and hopefully we'll have some other new stuff to show you. But that was just a small explanation for people, you know, with high frequency. It's not dangerous. It doesn't have bad radiation. It have radiation which has been around us since man is man. We have more radiation, more frequent because of the cell phone, but what that machine produce is found everywhere around your house. It's not one place in your house where you have a working motor who doesn't create microwave or radiation. Anything, your fridge, your stove, lights, everything, TV, laptops, you name it. You know, your blender, your magic bullets, everything. You know, your toaster. They all do the same thing because we feed it with them. We feed it with that energy, microwave, radiation. That's what everything makes the whole world turn. So no wonder you can find radiation out of the motor, a toaster, a this or that. It's giving you out what you're feeding in. It's pretty simple. So it's not a rocket scientist at that point in time. And I'm not one of them. So, all right. Well, I hope this kind of illuminate you a little bit, and we'll catch you next time. So you guys have a good day. Bye.